Jim being account not streaming and no video.
Jim's not. It's streaming.
I think you're saying he's not streaming.
I think Josh made a video about Jim.
Look, I don't know, but I'm thankful for everything Jim's ever done for me or Andy.
Yeah.
And some people who want to start some beef there is like, it's stupid. Like,
do you think? Look, I get it.
I'm pretty sure.
I am fucked up.
Listen, I'm pretty sure he thinks this is gay, and I understand.
I'm totally down with it.
Yeah, I completely understand. But as far as people like, oh, get mad at Jim, that's never gonna happen. So.
I love Jim.
Yeah.
I heard a little beep there, but.
All right, what you heard there was a clip from the road trip live stream that was back a few weeks ago. Andy and Ralph moving on their way to Miami, where more events happened. Since then, Ralph had just gone completely scared of Ralph because he apparently yelled at him and locked the door behind him. Which, I mean, the guy's what, 5'1", 5'5", and scared of that? Okay. I hear some rumors that Andy and Failure are in a relationship now. Might cover that in another stream, but today we're going to focus primarily on Ralph, because Jim did stream recently. It was the only stream he did this month, which I guess that means he didn't give no content for his patrons. But if one stream is worth enough to you and give him money for that, I don't know. I just don't think it's worth pigging for that much for that sort of content. All right, so. Yeah, that is true. Jim did say he wasn't paying attention to it, but that's not exactly what he said. He said he wasn't mostly paying attention to it because he did comment here and there about it. He did say there were some funny moments. Yeah, I think the man's better off speaking to himself. So let's listen to what he has to say about our dear friend Ralph. Again, this was on a stream that he did very recently. I believe it was the Wednesday of last week. Could be misremembering that, but whatever. He mostly talked about some censorship stuff, which I think it's an important issue to talk about because we're soon not going to be able to have the internet in any kind of free capacity whatsoever, which I don't think is such a good thing. I'll leave it to him to talk about that. Might go into a bit more detail about another time. I don't completely agree with Jim, but I do think he is. I think it's better that he's talking about it than just telling other people to go talk about it. I don't think that's a smart move. Oh, real quick from the chat. You ever talk to Farrell anymore? Well, I told you, Farrell is dead. Like, what do you want from me? Anyway, let's play this clip right here.
From Sean Turner, how you doing, Jim? Can we get a quick update on what happened to the Ralph retort? And do you think they fell from grace? What can I watch now for entertainment? Well, an update on the Ralph retort. When StreamMe went under, they came back over to YouTube. They're currently streaming over on Memology's channel. I do think there's a bit of a fall from grace, I will be honest with you. Ralph seems to be kind of fighting with his audience, which is never a smart idea. But he still does his show. As for what you can watch now for entertainment, fuck if I know. I've been playing video games. I've just gone back to playing video games and browsing 4chan. I've redirected my efforts and attention. So there you go. I don't have really a great recommendation for what you can go and watch.
Oof. Bit of a barb there thrown at Ralph from Jim. Not as harsh as it could be, granted, but yeah, Jim himself saying that attacking your audience is a really bad idea. Jim had a little bit more to say about Ralph in this next clip I'm going to play, and we'll listen to that as well.
CJ Man 2112, I will understand if you don't want to talk about it, but what's your opinion on Ralph and Friends? I kind of already gave it. I haven't really watched the kill stream, I'd say, in like the last month or so. I've been kind of preoccupied with my own shit. I know there's a lot of crazy shit going on, a lot of fighting back and forth. I think it's probably a bad idea to turn on your audience. It doesn't work out for anybody. It didn't work out for Baked. And I would not recommend doing that. Again, the formula is pretty straightforward. Put on a show, read the super berries, and call it a night. It's kind of step one, step two.
There you have it. Jim just compared Ralph to Baked Alaska, which, if you don't know who Baked Alaska is, he's the guy that got Ralph a spot in the blood sports scene to begin with. Big Teleska was spurging out. Coldest Chat Toxic was trying to distance himself from like the ethno-nationalist types that he blatantly and very explicitly built his career off of. He was being pals with Richard Spencer back when everyone was attacking him in November of 2016. And he retained that audience up until that year. Like, year and a half later, he decides, I don't like you guys, I don't want you anymore, get out of here. No sort of nuance or any of the sort. But is this accurate? Is what Jim's saying here equivalent? Has Ralph really thrown his audience under the bus? Well, I would say yes, and I can already cite the stuff I already covered on the show. Ralph has previously been shown to have been very highly likely to have doxed Lord Akira. Also, in addition to that, he's also has been shown to be in a Discord with the Plate Gang and Zoom, fucking with his own supporters and patrons. And in addition, hold on for 1 second, please. All right, sorry for that dead air moment there. Had to fix something. In any event, where was I? Oh yeah, Ralph. Yeah, Ralph. Ralph is shown to have been working on with some gay ops with the Plate Gang and Zoom. He was shown to have very likely have doxed Lord Akira, and there's been many moments where he said various things. Oh, and of course he started hugboxing his own Discord server. If you dare to disagree with Ralph in any way whatsoever, if you were too harsh on his pay piggies, or you were too critical of him, or made a few fat jokes here and there, you got banned, and you were not allowed in there. You're considered a bad actor. And that's all enough, but did he actually go on live stream, and was he dumb enough to actually go on a live stream and spurg out just like Baked Alaska did? Well, yeah, the answer to that is very much yes. And we'll hear a bit of that. And the most amazing part is this is all from one stream, but he's been doing this in other streams as well. However, I think this captures that sentiment that Ralph has been on about very, very well. So let's listen to it.
Gator, I don't even like me. I'm going to be real. This is going to get into complete psychoanalysis territory. Most days, I don't even like me. For every like you give, another member of Cal 8chan hangs themselves. Do not forget to like this stream. Fans. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people want us to be gone, Gator. They don't want us to have a show. They don't want us to do anything. And I understand. Actually, I don't.
Ought to.
By the way, like the
You're
stream.
See
the cocksuckers from Cal are in there trying to downvote it. Like
One is of...
Oh, look, those numbers just turned right around, didn't they? Cal BTFO'd again.
You scared? The crocodile?
Keep liking it. The more you like it, the more pissed off they get. Yep. Each like makes a faggot incel cry. For every like you give, tears come out of their brain.
When's you and Andy?
By the way, I see Vivian Smythe Smith told me to keep begging for likes. Yeah, give me more likes. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't do that normally, but there's people, they're trying to. It really doesn't matter if you dislike or like, but there's clearly a group here who just wants to vote it down just because we're on here. And I understand. I've done the same thing. So I don't hold a grudge over it, but immediately when I mention it, it goes up by 300. I mean, that'll tell you something. Most of our viewers are just passive viewers. They're just sitting here watching the stream. Maybe they're playing games. Maybe they're writing their college paper, their thesis. Most people are not really invested in the, likes and dislikes. They're just having it on in the background, which I don't blame them.
That was Ralph complaining about Cal bullying him, making fun of him, mass disliking the stream, which he can complain about all that he likes, he can call it brigading or whatever, but the reality is, people aren't disliking your stream because they want to fuck with you, or not just because they want to fuck with you at the very least. Your stream sucks, Ralph, or has for quite some time, and I don't think that's changed at all. And you haven't been really doing a good job with any of the improvements or whatever. In addition, he's using his own audience as his own personal army to go ahead and make himself feel better by changing the like to dislike ratio. It's amazing. And as someone pointed out in the chat, he's literally acting like Monday Matt. And this is the type of behavior that Jim called out, this typical skeptic behavior, which oddly enough, despite Ralph fighting against the skeptics for a better part of a year, he acts very much like them. He used to be friends with them and hang out with them. And this isn't really surprising at all that Ralph went this low to the point where even his buddy Jim had to call him out. And of course, I'm using the term buddy loosely here. Jim isn't actually friends with anyone. And he'll tell you that right off the bat. So that is actually, which is good on him, because that means he won't just let something like that slide just because he's friends with them. Now, do I think that he should say more? Maybe a bit. Maybe Jim could be covering this trash dumpster fire a bit more closely, but we'll see. But how's Ralph taking this? What's going on in his end? Because we know what the audience thinks, we know what Jim thinks, you know what I think now, and how has Ralph been handling it? Well, he's gone back to his usual shtick. Write an article when things go wrong. And this is something that he's done before. He wrote an article. After he embarrassed himself on a live stream when another troll group called the A-Team made this stupid rumor up that he raped and murdered a girl behind Arby's in 1998. Which I've never heard that rumor debunked, so it still might be true for all we know. I mean, we have to ask if it is. Why would they all say that all at once and chant it? But in any event, he wrote one up back then. When there was another time when he went on stream with Leo Pirate over some dumb gay shit over the copyright owner of a DM screenshot, which I don't even know what the fuck was going on there. But apparently Ralph lost his cool, and he went on another apology tour. He also went on an apology tour when he went ahead and punched a cop. And then, actually, I think he went on an apology tour twice, because he went on an apology tour that, hey, these allegations against me, which were undoubtedly true, that they were affecting the site. And then he did another apology tour when, surprise, surprise, yeah, he was found guilty of punching a police officer, which, I don't know what to say. It's like, he's fucked up so, does he really think that just writing an article will get him out of this? Well, let's give this a read. I was going to call this the wages of gin, but gin is disgusting. I mean, I'm not going to comment throughout the article, but I'm just going to say this about the title. Why the fuck did you name this? Why did you name, honestly, if you just call us the wages of gin, no one would give a shit if he drunk gin or not. It's a okay-ish pun. It's clickbait, but, it gets the job done. This is just, I don't know, this is just preschool level embarrassing here. But anyway, let's keep reading. I used to sit and wonder how anyone would ever suffer from burnout. It just didn't make sense to me. How could someone with a successful enterprise that doesn't really seem to involve much work get burned out? Just show up, do your shtick, and come back the next day to do it all over again. Thankfully, I no longer have to wonder about this phenomenon, because I have fallen victim to it myself. Even during the Halcyon days of Killstream, there were many nights when I didn't go on air. There were even more nights where I did actually end up going on air, but only with a few drinks to steal my resolve. This, combined with the fact that the drinking usually didn't make the show better, led to a bit of dependence. Sometimes that was required at the outset. Suddenly became more of a necessity. Alright, the music's a little too loud. Let me try to lower it a little bit. Okay. Just move it away. There were even more nights where I did actually end up going on air, only with a few drinks to steel my resolve. This, combined with the fact that the drinking usually did make the show better, led to a bit of dependence. Sometimes that wasn't required at the outset, it suddenly became more of a necessity. I've heard comedians and other entertainers talk about this sort of thing before, but I never truly understood it until recently. Now, I could just continue to drink and do the shows as I have for the past year. In fact, for many months, that was my conscious decision. I'm not breaking any laws or the terms of my probation by doing so, but it has affected my overall health and well-being. I remember coming out of that hellhole last February, like it was yesterday. I was apprehensive about what could come next, but I was fit, rested, and ready. I can no longer lay claim to any of these. As a result, I've decided over the last week to re-enter the world of sobriety and fitness. It wasn't easy at first. It still isn't easy now either, but I'm committed to doing it and will continue upon that path. It's been a great year. On the whole, I've met many amazing people and done things in my internet career that I never thought I would do. But I've also played right into the hands of the people who genuinely want to see me fail by giving me the ammunition to use against me. Even though much of what has been said about me is false, I can't blame the real mistakes on anyone other than myself and perhaps the Wall Street Journal. Putting out something like this would be seen as a weakness by some. Others will hold it up as an admission of me, but there is something free about the written word. As magical as a live show can be, a planned edited declaration is in many ways more risky than an off-the-cuff statement. So here it is. What will I do going forward? Well, it's obvious that the show itself is in a state of flux. So the Dan and Gator have not left the show, but they aren't there. They're pursuing interests beyond this realm of the internet, and I do not begrudge that in the slightest. I'm sure they will be back around here and there, but I doubt they will be back every day now, as they used to be. As a result, I have to either get used to doing the show solo or with revolving co-hosts until some sort of new balance can be struck. In truth, I'm still working on it, and after a weekday show with 2 other people for an entire year, you sort of get used to having them there every night. It takes them time to evolve. That being said, I'm not going to stop. There are still a lot of people who want to watch my program 5 nights a week. There are still thousands of podcast downloads. It has been a bit of a struggle this last couple of weeks, like trying to find a lost object in the dark. But there have been good shows as well. I'll continue to try to build on those while getting back onto the of entertaining guests. This is not a note of capitulation. It is one of clarification. I thought it would be better than a 100-word tweet about why I wasn't doing the show tonight. The reason for Tuesday's absence? I simply don't have enough time to prepare due to real-life commitments, and I didn't want to phone something in, even though Jesse Smollett's bullshit probably would have allowed me to do so. I'll be back Wednesday night, and the rest of the week, I'll also be in New York City this weekend of April 5th, where I look forward to hopefully meeting some of you. I realize this post will be poured over and parsed in videos and streams, but I decided to make it nonetheless. I hope it proved to be a good enough update on the show for those of you who care to read it. Thank you, as always, for your support. And that was a reading of Ralph's latest article, The Wages of Gin. And I know that's not the actual title, but it rolls off the tongue better. It's honestly better than the dumb title he chose. And like, what can I say about it? It kind of speaks for itself. Ralph is upset about himself entirely. He's upset about his drinking problems and a habit, which has been a point of contention and criticism for years, not just months. This has been an issue for him ever since he started becoming semi-big, ever since he started to have a small following. It's been an issue for him. Never mind having thousands of people watch him. When hundreds of people are looking into him, he was having drinking problems. He's upset about his weight. This has also been something that's been fucking him up consistently, and it obviously offends him. In fact, in comparison, he took the jokes about him and his porn habits of watching black cuckold porn a lot better than him being a fat ass. for some reason, and I don't know why, Ralph is more content being called a cuck than a fat ass. Like, I don't know how to wrap my head around that. But aside from that, Zidane and Gator have obviously quit, and I don't think it's just because they want to go ahead and pursue careers outside of the show. Zidane's a trucker, and he's been fine with going ahead and being a trucker while being a co-host, which truckers make good money. So, I mean, he's better off than Gator, which I don't know what kind of career Gator would make, frankly. I mean, the only skills that he purports to have is he can operate a soundboard, and supposedly he's a Puerto Rican pussy slayer. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think Gator's going much anywhere. I just think that Gator got tired of being picked on, made fun of, rightfully so, for being Ralph's little stooge. And he decided, hey, I'm not going to be a bitch anymore, and I'm going to do something else that's going to make me actual money. Which is funny, because even if Gator has a small job at like a store or, whatever, maybe he's going to college for whatever, I can only really speculate, he can still take a cut of the pay that Ralph's earning from the Super Chats. Which Ralph's never going to give that because he's a greedy fat fuck. And that's another thing. I don't think that Ralph's issues have to do with particular laughable attributes about him. Like, for example, the overeating, the drinking, etc. I think it stems from mostly pride and greed. Like, really, those two things are Ralph's biggest flaws. Not this other stuff. That's just byproducts that result from that. So that's pretty much where Ralph's been at. So we've looked a little into Ralph's past. We checked him out in the present. But what about the future? Well, currently Ralph has the kill stream is dead. It's no longer the same show anymore. The title's been changed and the co-hosts are no longer with us. Zidane and Gator moving on to greener pastures. But he's been having some other co-hosts, which honestly, I think they're just some nobodies. He's still getting the usual suspects on, like Dick Masterson and Dame Pesos. The usual go-tos he has when he has a lack of guests that are interesting. But he does have a couple of guests later, repeat guests. But Friday, April 5th, 9:30 p.m., Destiny versus Soph, live from New York City on the Ralph Retort. Okay, which, yeah, you're going to have Destiny on again. All right, and a 14-year-old girl. Well, at least for this blood sports debate, they're evenly matched. And I mean, like, why do people still take Destiny seriously? Why do they still take his debates with any sort of competency? I mean, the ironic thing is that, it pains me to say this, but most of the time, Destiny wins these debates. And, I mean, well, just look at this clip, courtesy of Dame Pesos.
You genuinely do hate conservatives, don't you?
Very much so. Like I've moved full on to like the political violence level or the real violence level when it comes to conservative people. Yeah, I think they need to be like excised from my fucking country. I think they are demonstrably fucking evil people by any moral system that most people would use. And then I just hate them because they tend to destroy the outcomes related to this country, which is what I'm concerned with. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh fuck! It's heavy, dude. Even this is heavy for me. Oh, God. Oh, this is the end.
That was Destiny declaring jihad on conservatives like myself. He's going to come for me. I'm quaking my boots that the last surviving member of the Lollipop Guild is going to come with me with a shotgun. There you go. And he's going to be on the Ralph Retort debating a 14-year-old girl. That's the state of Ralph and Destiny's careers at the moment. Yeah. By the way, do you know that Ralph is going to be streaming this from New York City? He's not going to have either guests there with him live. Like that would be kind of more, entertaining if they were face to face. But it's just, I guess maybe there's a mystique about the city that's run by But anyway, aside from that, I do have a bit of an update. On something I said. Now, previously, I remember having a conversation with Zoom in which he told me that Sargon, and there were some other people present, but as I remember, he said that Sargon settled his lawsuit against Alicia Hughes, who was suing him for copyright infringement. The thing is, I wanted to look deeper into this because I think this needs to be talked about more. But according to the court docket, or at least this source here and others, I can't find any evidence of a settlement. Like the last update that we have available that I can read is a memorandum of law, which is a motion to dismiss in response to another motion to dismiss. So I don't know if this has actually been settled. I can't be sure about that anymore. As far as I'm aware, this is still ongoing. Now, there's a few possibilities here. One, I'm an idiot and misremember or didn't actually understand what Zoom meant, what he said. Two, Zoom has information I don't, and he knows, and the lawsuit is settled. Or three, Zoom's research was faulty and he got the facts wrong. Any one of those three are possible, but at the moment, the point is I don't know what the state of this lawsuit is. And I'm still going to cover it because Sargon tricked people into paying $100,000 for his personal lawsuit. Now, let's just say that Sargon is in the clear in this case. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. Oh, and I should have corrected myself. 100,000 pounds, which in U.S. dollars is about $125,000. You know, just to, you can $0.1 million there. A little bit over. But even if Sargon is in the right here, even if this is an unfair DMCA being used against him, does he need all this money for it? That's a question I'm going to explore on the next episode, which I want to do another one I want to do another episode tomorrow night, but every time I say I'm going to do one this night or that night, it ends up being like a week or so before I go ahead and do it. So we'll see. All right, but that about wraps things up. I didn't want to make this episode too long. I just want to talk about some recent things with Ralph that I thought were pretty funny. I also understand there's some other things with Andy that I also want to cover. Like, I saw a clip where he's freaking out because he peed the bed. I mean, this guy is what, 31, 32? Like, what kind of grown man? Like, I just don't get it. Like, was he doing a bit? I don't get the point of the bit, but we may look into that as well. So, all right. So I'm gonna read some of the comments in the chat, and then I'm gonna close out. All right. Give me a moment. All right. Let me look up. Jim roasted Big so hard in that in real life live stream. Yeah, he did. He went full low cow and record speed. Yeah, I would say that Baked. Yeah, I would say Baked definitely did. Ralph was either a close in my view, I think Ralph was a close contender for that record though. And yeah, Ralph is a hypocrite. Notice Sedan and Gator don't really fuck with him much anymore. Are you referring to Zidane and Gator fucking with Ralph or Baked? Moving on. Is this heel turn fam ever a Seth? Where's Seth? Is Joaquin new show? Is this Joaquin's new show? No, this is not Joaquin's new show. I don't know what Joaquin's doing. All I don't really know about Joaquin is he's some big alt-right dude who somehow works with Richard Spencer despite plastering his balls on the internet, which that was a brilliant choice right there. Totally owned Queen of Paws at that one. Everyone but us is doing gay ops. Goes on and does gay ops. That pretty much covers Ralph. Shit is disgusting. Those be fighting words, boy. I wouldn't know. I don't drink. Is this heel turn? No, it isn't. Okay. That's a group that was fucking with Tonka back in the day, referencing the Anime Mafia. Yep, they were. Good on them. Bowling the anti-pulley. Reference to Billy, Bully the anti-Billy, which I guess is a play on Billy the Anti-Bully. Where's Aqua? I don't know where Aqua is. He kind of disappeared. Like, most of the anime mafia, as far as, like, at least the major players, like Aqua and Tui, they're pretty much left the face of the internet. Like, I could suspect that maybe they're using alternate accounts. I don't know. They're anon, so wherever they are, whatever. We need underwater Alex Jones, am I right? What I don't understand what the backstory is with underwater Alex Jones. He was never really a major player, but I don't know. He's kind of like a one-note gimmick character. I think he spurred out at one point because he got doxxed, which maybe they'll be relevant someday, maybe not. Translation: Gator and Zidane have quit. Yep. Zidane is the only one to have come out clean in this debacle. Yeah, I would agree. I think there's a few others that. No, actually, no. I completely agree with that. I honestly think that throughout this whole thing for the past few months about the various players and characters within this saga, yeah, Zidane pretty much kept his nose clean. And honestly, like, if he's able to keep his head up above the waters for this much, then maybe there's potential for him to be a streamer and actually host a good show rather than having this dumb shit go on for eternity. After Jim roasted him, he didn't stream that day. That is true. Ralph just quit like a bitch. When Streamy died, I think he was done. Not sure if Streamy dying killed Ralph. I think Ralph killed Ralph. I think that Streamy dying was incidental to that. The sad thing is this music describes the guy's failure to adjust his levels. The Wages of Gunt. Yeah, I would say that would actually be a better title as well. Anime Mafia Gang Gang, where's Tui? I don't know where Tui or Aqua or any of these characters are. Like, the last I heard, they were... Like, apparently there's some lore about them apparently in World of Warcraft, and they're apparently male to female transsexuals. I don't know what's up with that. I think someone made up a slash fic and just attributed to them. I don't know. If someone has any evidence of that, though, send it my way. Maybe we'll cover it. He better enjoy his Miami trip because hell will never rise above again, I believe. Gator works at Trader Joe's. That's what the rumor is. Honestly, I have no real reason to doubt that because, again, what are Gator's qualifications? I don't think he has many. He wants to become a manager someday? Oh, that's cold, man. Like, if he makes a career out of being at a grocery store, that's one of the worst fates you could possibly have. Gator looks like a fat slob. He is a fat slob, so that'd be true. Him in that luchador mask was fucking ridiculous. $20. He banged Pinecone Chick as well. I don't know if he could. Honestly, I don't even think he was able to bang Pinecone Chick. I really don't. I mean, but then again, he is the Puerto Rican pussy slayer, so maybe he was able to work that mystique and that charm. Flamico and Ranbot are the new Gator and Zidane, possibly. Small versus a 14-year-old. Yeah, like, they're at eye level, so it's fair. Destiny's taken seriously outside of the niche right-wing circles. Is he? I don't know. Like, I mean, Jesse Lee Peterson had him on. Well, he's niche, so I guess maybe that doesn't count. But Jesse Lee Peterson just made fun of him when he had him on his show, and I think that is the correct approach to Destiny because, like, why would you argue with this guy when he openly admits that his arguments are polemics? The guy's just trying to bait people, and it's just not interesting or funny. And the thing is, like, if someone was a bit more competent at debating, a bit more, if someone had a bit more confidence and was a bit more competent, and didn't take it seriously, because if you take these debates seriously, you're gonna lose. Like, it just happens. And I think, and in a certain sense, I think Destiny might be losing these debates in the long run because over time he becomes more and more unlikable. But I don't know. I just kind of take these things in isolation, and the arguments that people have against him are kind of weak in a lot of cases. But I don't know. I'm so tired of hearing Destiny's opinion. He's a fucking sped. Agreed. I hope his daughter's black boyfriend knocks his head off. Um, I believe that's in regard to Sargon. But the real question, well, I think she's a bit young. Maybe I'm got the wrong. Well, maybe you want to you might want to qualify that is because I don't think Sargon's daughter is old enough to be dating by any stretch of the imagination. But the real question is who is taller. If I had to put money on it, I'd say Soph is taller than Destiny. But we'll see about that. I used to play StarCraft 2 at championship level, so that means I know shit. That is basically, Destiny No Show. It's run by our good friends and the Shylock Jews. I believe that's in regards to New York City. And indeed, there is a large portion of Jews living in New York City. This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move now and then. Hear my heart burst again, for this is the end. I've drowned and dreamt this moment. So overdue, I owe them. Swept away, I'm stolen. Let the gun fall. When it crumbles, we will stand. Face it all together. Let the gun fall. When it crumbles, we will stand. Foot tall. Face it all together. At Guntfall. At Guntfall. Guntfall is where we start. 1,000 miles and poles apart, where worlds collide and days are dark. You may have my number. You can take my name, but you'll never have my heart. Let the gun fall. When it crumbles, we will stand tall. Face it all together. Let the gun fall. That was a bit of poetry by Rob. Oh, there's a couple more verses. When it crumbles, we will stand tall. Face it all together. At Guntfall. Where you go, I go. What you see, I see. I know I'd never be without it. Oh, no. I fucked that up. I know I'd never be me without the security of your loving arms, keeping me from harm. Put your hand in my hand. Put your hand in my hand, and we'll stand. Let the gun fall. When it crumbles, we will stand tall. Face all together. Let the gun fall. That was a beautiful bit of poetry by Robin Williams. I'm pretty sure that was original work. I didn't realize I had such talent in the chat. Probably was original work. Assuming he didn't just rip it off from somewhere and made a parody. The reason this shit went so bad is him troll shielding Andy so hard about fucking some fat chick. Yeah, I would say that's a contributing factor to it. Like Ralph should have honestly, yeah, that was actually a big contributing factor to it because that's when Ralph started getting shit. Like because he was obviously not covering a big story that dealt with his business partner, and instead of just taking on the chin, and he just decided to cover him or cover his ass rather. And that was a bad call. He got called out by the chat. Zoom went on. He started calling him out for that as well. In a more subtle way, referencing how he's become the mundane man of Stream Me. And then Ralph started turning on Zoom, and that blew up in his face, along with many other lists of mistakes. When he was very willing, lost my place. Give me a moment. When he was very willing to go at Sargon for him possibly fucking someone at VidCon. Yeah, there is a double standard there for sure. LOL, people still doing to Sargoy. I don't know why anyone bothered. Well, the thing is, for some reason, people just want to. I don't get it. Like the guy just merchants his way up to the top, but he keeps on hoodwinking a bunch of people into believing that he's like this savior of the West, and he knows shit, and he'll get everyone. Like he's a thought leader, but he doesn't have any good thoughts. The guy is just pandering to center-right audience by taking far-right memes and presenting it to them in a more watered-down form. That's all this guy has been doing for the past few years. And before that, I would say he's doing that his entire career. Like, the guy is a poser. The guy doesn't believe in anything, really. The most he believes in is 90s liberal values of playing video games and cummies. There's nothing this guy stands for. Not really. He just cites Loki and other enlightened authors and other bullshit like that. But all the message really boils down to is do whatever you want. Just enjoy life, and if anyone dares get in your way of doing that, like the government, they're the bad guys, and you have to oppose them. But what is that? Like, that's just such a basic normie tier, uneducated view of things that I don't get why people don't see through that. It's dumb. It's really, really dumb. Because even if that's your values, even if you value like values, quote unquote, even if you put freedom above all else, you would look into other shit like how competing groups and competing quote unquote rights conflict with one another and how they can be best resolved. But he just sticks with these basic platitudes that don't matter. And I'm rambling about some dumb shit that's not really important. So let's move on from there. When it crumb, uh, okay, more. I'm not reading more gun verses. I've had enough of that. We're going to need a bigger purple bucket, probably. Oh, that's yeah. Oh, I know what that is a reference to. Sargon, like yeah, Godwinson did a video on this, and I think I'll play it next time. Sargon had a bucket at a live event that was marked donations. He wanted people at a political rally where he was supposed to be taken as a serious speaker to give him money. Like, I've never seen a politician do this. And I use the word politician in a literal sense because apparently Sargon is running for office. And I'm going to have a lot of fun covering that. In fact, I almost hope he wins. I almost hope this guy becomes as popular as possible just so I can make fun of him more. I almost wish that. Like, it's just, he keeps on doing more dumb things. And I know this guy's ego will get the better of him. And there'll be more moments to make fun of him over. Sargon has a deep cult of personality around him. This is true. It's a bit Andy lies about everything he does on live stream for shekels. I believe that's in reference to him peeing the bed. Yeah, there's evidence to back that up. I don't think it's 100% lies. I think it's very hard to be a complete, absolute liar about everything and to have a completely fake, like entirely fake personality. I think that he is legitimately stupid. I think he is legitimately well, that's really like I think he is actually a cokehead, and I think he is legitimately really, really. I mean, what more can I really say about him? Like, it's just the drugs, degeneracy, the retardation. That's really the three pillars of Andy. With the bed, he's got the intelligence of a 6-year-old. Does that make failure a pedophile? Oof. Quite possibly. If the rumors are true that they're a couple now, then yes, it would. It would make a failure a pedophile. Notice how when these guys run out, give me a moment. Notice how when these guys run out of content, they start this in real life shit. It's fucking gay. I agree. I think the in real life genre, like, in order to do it, you have to do it right. And even then, like, it's not something I'm into. Like, I know Jim likes it. Like, he's not just, and I think he was even pushing for Andy to do this at one point. And I just personally don't get it. I know other people like it, but it's just not for me. And I don't think it works when you move from making videos or streams to just putting a camera on the streets. I think you need to be a bit more subtle than that. You have to have a good angle at the very least if you're gonna be going to breaking into that genre. Not that I really care because most of these celebs, no matter what they do, they just tend to be absolute gutter trash. Why take a break when you can sink to new lows? That's an excellent question. The gun only goes so low, to be honest. Destiny has a daughter. Oh yeah. Top Hat Coyote says people who think e-celebs are worth worrying about, they're really not. Like, you shouldn't ever worry about an e-celeb. That's when they trick you. That's when they go ahead and they convince you that you should help them, that you should give them money, that you should support them in any way. But really screw them. Like, pretty much all. Like, I mean, like this is like, I mean, honestly, just why would you ever hear a sob story about some guy, I don't know, being accused by 30 different women of harassment and then go support his kick GoFundMe and for his legal fees. I don't get why that's a popular thing. Like, we've seen examples with Sargon, Count Dankula, the Money Badgers, etc. This is a thing that keeps happening, and people keep on coming up with more and more excuses as to why it's a good idea. And in all the examples I just mentioned, they're either like that's another thing. But we already know with the Money Badgers, their lawsuit failed because they hired a hack lawyer. In Sargon's case, it's up in the air to this day. And in Dankula's case, what is he doing exactly? What is his legal strategy? Has there been any updates? He got like a ton of money that probably makes Sargon blush. And what's he doing with it? Last I heard, there's no legal option for him to pursue the case to get this appealed. Like, apparently his legal strategy is to get arrested at some point and then try to appeal. I don't know. If someone I don't know, I'll have to look into it because it really sounds shady. I don't trust it one bit. I think that Count Dankula was never a victim, to be honest, because the law is stupid. You shouldn't be arrested for offending people, but he should have known better. He really should have. The Communications Act was a law, and people have been penalized for it before. But now, he didn't. He was a victim. He had no way of knowing. He couldn't have looked this up. He couldn't have possibly known that laughing and giggling about gas to the Jews might offend people and violated the UK law. Frankly, I don't give it. He does not deserve this hero status that the media and these YouTubers have given him. He isn't. He's just a moron on the internet who thought he could do something they couldn't because he forgot which country he lived in. Now, if he was smart, he would have done one of a few things. He would have consulted a lawyer first. He would have refined the joke so it wouldn't potentially violate any kind of European sensibilities, or he would have just moved to the United States and then did it. Any of these possibilities would have worked, but now we're supposed to feel sorry for a guy who doesn't take responsibility, doesn't do a basic level of research, and as a result has a GoFundMe of hundreds of thousands, at least $100,000, and probably more than that. And honestly, I don't care for it. I don't care for any e-celeb or any friend of an e-celeb that goes ahead and gives them money off for a lawsuit, whether they're suing somebody, whether they're being sued, whether it's criminal charges. None of it. It's it should not be a thing that's done. You should be prepared to go ahead and face these consequences yourself because it's called being responsible. Taking other people's money for your stuff, well, that is and should be shameful. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. Maybe think that there are cases where a lawsuit could be paid. Go ahead and tell me if that's the case. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay. Skip back in the stream. I've been going on about this for a while. I hope that's not disrupting it. Oh, I see. Never mind. There's some context there. Probably gonna wrap this up real soon. I think we're almost cut up. Oh, one more comment. John Kelly endorsed Sorgoy for office. No, I don't. I said I'd almost support him. I wouldn't actually support him. Or is this just? Or am I just? Or is that is that a mask? Am I just saying that just because I really want this? I really want the guy who promotes Loki and tells me that rights are a thing because they just are, man. They're put there by the creator, which I don't believe in, but they were definitely put there by God. Nope, I'm not religious. I'm not theistic in any way, but definitely subscribe to rights, which are definitely God given. All right, I've rambled long enough tonight. Hopefully another stream will come up tomorrow night. Thanks all for listening. Last thing I want to say, if I got anything wrong, if you disagreed with me on something, or if you thought that a part of the story could have been refined due to the information I was lacking, or whatever the case may be, you can contact me on Twitter at JMKACC. You can join my Discord, which is in the description, or you can just leave a comment in the video. All right. Have a good night and peace out.